Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, my Survivor Series review. I'm going to say this right now. I was surprised at this Survivor Series. I was very surprised. I didn't have very high hopes for it. Even if everyone else did, I didn't. But see my point of view as the show progressed. Now, the pre-show, Bad News Barrett came back, and he basically spoke about the Survivor Series main event. He didn't do a bad job, but my question is two things. One, is he going to be healthy and not get injured again quickly? And two, how are they going to build Luke Harper with him? That's just how I feel about it. You guys tell me how you feel about that below. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the two matches that were on the kickoff show. I was actually surprised to see two matches. Normally only do one, but we got two. The person who got hurt the most in one of those matches was Cesaro. Cesaro got hurt so badly because they had something they could have done with him when he was part of the Real Americans, and he's just a mess. I had more interest in seeing Zed talk against him than seeing Cesaro, and that hurt me. I love Cesaro way more than Jack Swagger and Zed, but I just didn't see anything interesting. Even though Jack won, I didn't really care that much about it. What I did care about was the second match. Oh, Justin Gabriel, who we haven't seen in a while, versus a new and improved Fandango with a Rosa Mendes by his side. Now, I gotta say this. I believe that Rosa probably wasn't too fond of knowing that she's gonna be working with Fandango, going back into a manager type of role or a partner. I'm sure she wasn't fond of that. She'd rather be in the ring wrestling. But to be honest, her work in the ring has been not so good. And Fandango is not a bad person to be with. He actually could raise a person. So the change in his clothes was very good. He really looks like a Casanova now. Before he really didn't look like one. He just looked like a painted up wrestler. Now he looks like a real Casanova with a woman who looks like she's from Argentina, or in her place, Costa Rican. As if I remember correctly, she's part Costa Rican and part, what is she? Part Croatian, I'm sorry. Part Croatian, part Costa Rican. So the dress she wore actually fits her heritage in a sense. And the new music went well. Them dancing together wasn't too bad. Admittedly, Rosa doesn't really act very fluid. Maybe it's because it's the first time she ever done this, and maybe she feels a little awkward about it. Maybe with time she'll get better, but you get my point. He won his match, which I was okay with. I was more interested in seeing that than the other match. Now, let's get into the first thing I want to talk about is Roman Reigns' interview. Now, I could leave this for later, but I want to get it done now. It wasn't a bad interview, but I did feel like there was something missing to it, and the commentators didn't help it. I mean, JBL did somewhat of a good job, but to be honest, commentation didn't work that well. Cole didn't make it interesting. JBL, even though he was the devil's advocate, didn't make it any better. But when it came to Roman Reigns, he's not a great talker yet. And being away for a couple of months, I felt like whatever skills he has is a little diminished. So even though he did sound pretty good saying, you know, if I was there, I'd cock this wrist and tear hell into this bitch. Wasn't too bad, but I felt it could have been better. That's just me. And now, supposedly by the end of December, maybe around the 22nd of December, just before Christmas, he's supposed to come back. Let's just hope they can build him up more properly and give him something to work with. The second thing I really... Well, the two pep talks from both teams were not too bad. They weren't. I felt that seeing Steph, the way she freaked out, was a little overdone. Triple H did a better job. Now, when it came to the other side, Dolph didn't do a very bad job, but I think the main reason he's not really doing a great job either is because he really doesn't have a lot of time to talk. So when it comes down to it, he's going to be a little sloppy because he doesn't really get enough time to talk on screen in Raw or SmackDown. That's just me. There's always been someone else where he never had a chance. So I'll kind of blow that off. But I felt that the Team Authority pep talk was a bit better with Triple H. Now, the match I really didn't like. The two matches I didn't like. Focus. Calm. Adam Rose and the Bunny versus Slater Gator. Why? Why? I can understand having a dark match on there, but you're doing a promotion of the Bunny versus Adam Rose. And the Bunny gets to win. He gets the Rosebuds. And the Adam Rose Express is now with him. And you see Adam Rose with eyeliner, I guess, under his eyes, going like this after the Bunny won the match all by himself. I'm not feeling it. That's just me. This sucks. This sucks. And I'm not all for Slater Gator. I'm just saying it sucks. It could have been done behind the scenes where they got screwed or something. I just didn't like it. The second match I felt really should never happen like that. AJ AJ versus Nikki Bella. I'm not a Bella fan. From farthest from it, as people know. And I know there's at least one of my subscribers, I believe he's still a subscriber. And I'm sure he's 100% happy that Nikki Bella got the title. And I'm not against him. In fact, you know why? Because it goes with storyline. I clap because the WWE went with the storyline, but they didn't want to go all the way through the storyline. You know why? Because Brie has now, if this is true, has turned heel. So I'm putting it to you like this, trying not to make this too long because I did the last 3 videos. I had to stop because it took too much time. You spent 4 to 5 months with these 2 women. Having one as a face, one as a heel. Even though people didn't like the feud, it was at least a decent storyline with the women that we don't normally get. Then you continue going with this with a 30-day one would be the other one's assistant. And at the last possible minute, right when the one who's supposed to be the face, who is the wife of the one who is the most strongest face they have other than, well, actually John Cena is not as strong as Daniel Bryan, let's be honest. Even though John is the head of the company, Daniel Bryan is the most strongest face they have that people really love. She's connected to that. And you expect, well, Bella versus Bella. No matter how much you may not like the feud, storyline-wise, it made sense. Now, Brie kisses I'm getting angry here. Brie kisses AJ, which was kind of a sloppy lesbian type of thing. AJ gets knocked out. Nikki wins the title, which I'm alright with. But then Brie becomes a heel, loving her sister and happy that she wins, holding a title up like this. It's stupid. You shouldn't have ever done this feud if you're going to turn Brie heel at the last possible fucking minute, which makes no damn sense. If you didn't want to go through this, you shouldn't have given Nikki the right to even go for the title. Because by TLC, it would have made more sense to have Bella versus Bella at TLC, end it there, and that would have been it. But now you have them together again, which is stupid. Unless I'm wrong and this Raw that her sister's going to turn her on her again, and they will probably have the feud at TLC. That's what I believe, but you guys tell me below. Here's another match. Personally, to me, was a great match. But it was empty for me personally. And I'm sure everyone else is going to say, are you stupid? But this is how I feel about it. Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose. You want to know the reason why? The match was great. These guys can talk up a storm. They can put the people's asses in the seats. Bray Wyatt, even as diminished as he is, in his character, and he is diminished, they fucked him over. He can still get people behind him. Dean Ambrose is red hot right now. At least as far as I can tell. He's still pretty red hot. But when you put these two together, the way they did a Hell in a Cell, I couldn't feel the match that was coming. I knew it was going to be a great match, but I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel the feud between them because Bray Wyatt has been so badly built for 6 straight months. It was so fucking screwed up. Where he went through with John Cena, where he went through with Chris Jericho twice. It was so bad that I felt there was nothing there for him. I said this to everyone after it happened in Hell in a Cell, that Bray Wyatt might get buried here. And personally, I feel like he did. And I'm not talking about the chairs and the table that Dean Ambrose threw on him. I felt that Bray Wyatt got buried here because next to his character not getting developed enough, the feud was too short for this match. They needed more time. If this happened at basically TLC, I really believe... Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. My battery died. But you get my point. Because when it comes down to it, really, Bray Wyatt needed a longer amount of time to build up the feud. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, dude, come on. Come on. This was a great feud. And it's not over. And I know it's not over. But in the end, Bray Wyatt really didn't benefit from this. It benefited Dean Ambrose. Yes, it gives him something to do until TLC. They needed something for him to do during this Survivor Series because there was no room for him. But when it really comes down to it, it just, for me personally, it just felt like it was missing more time to the feud to build. And Bray Wyatt needing more time to rebuild his character during this period. But you guys can tell me below, and I'm sure you're going to say, you're wrong. But I understand that. That's just my personal preference. Now, the Divas traditional 4-on-4, which I don't know if it's 4-on-4 for them, elimination tag match, their Survivor Series match, I felt was one of the best matches of the night. And unfortunately, because of what happened with the Fatal 4-Way with the Usos and everyone else, they didn't get what they deserved. That was my problem about it. But in the end, the match was actually very good. And Naomi got 2 wins. 2 pins. She pinned 2 people. She got that against Cameron and she got that against Paige. And I'm really happy that that happened. When it comes down to it, I'm sure many people will say, come on, it wasn't that great. I really believe it was. I think it was the third best match of the night. The second one was Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose. But the third one was easily that. I did love it. Now, when it comes to the... Should I do it now? Should I do it now? I have to do it now. The traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match. I didn't know what I was going to get in this match. I wasn't too fond of seeing that Cena was going to be the one who was going to end the match. But it was Dolph. Dolph was the one who ended the match. Seeing Mark Henry get fucking knocked out by Big Show in the very beginning of the match, and it was so damn funny to everyone else, that fucking pissed my ass off. Shit! I didn't want to see Mark Henry get laid out in the very first minutes of it. Come on now. That just was not right. That pissed my ass off. But I understand why they had to do it. They could not have Mark Henry at the end with Dolph Ziggler. There were too many big men, so they had to eliminate him. The matches, well, it was like 4 matches in one almost. It wasn't bad going from one person to another. Seeing Luke Harper and Eric Rowan there was an afterthought. I'm sorry. If anyone loved seeing those two together, I just didn't feel it. These 2 guys should not have been in that match together. Eric Rowan has had no time to build into his face character. Luke Harper has barely had any time to build into his face character. Throwing these 2 together so quickly was stupid. I would have liked Cesaro in that match. Let him be a face like he should be. But we didn't get that. That was dumb. Now here's a question. What happens with John Cena versus the Big Show now? Because now Big Show knocks out John Cena again. Because this isn't the first time this has happened. That means they're going to have a feud now? Do I actually want to see a John Cena Big Show feud? No. I do not want to see a John Cena Big Show feud. But it looks like they're going there. That's what's going. And I'm not fond of seeing it. Ugh. But most of the show was actually very good. seeing Triple H knock out 2 refs. So Eric Rowan, no, not Eric Rowan. You see, the Eric Rowan, Luke Harper is still playing on my mind. When you see Seth Rollins, he did a great job, Seth Rollins. He did. But Dolph Ziggler was the one who shined here. All the way to the end until we got Sting. I'm going to be honest here. I could not see all of the Survivor Series. A friend of mine called me while I was watching the entire show. Well, at the end of the show, my friend called me up and she wanted to talk. Now, normally I wouldn't say no to a friend. I would just stop what I'm doing and just watch it later. But something was telling me to watch this ending of the Survivor Series, because I would usually turn it off and talk to my friend. And as we were talking about something important, I'm not blowing her off, Sting comes out and I'm going like, what the fuck? And she said, you're right. I said, shit! Somebody who shouldn't even be on the fucking show, well, not in those, I didn't curse, but someone who shouldn't be there, who's never said they would be on the show, is there. Sting! Oh my fracky dacky crack. Taking the words from Booker T, was shocked. I was fucking shocked to see that. But in the end, I had to turn that off because I had to focus on my friend because she needed someone to talk to. But I was like, when it was all over, I'm going like, holy shit! Sting showed up. Sting just showed up. And now that I've reviewed the entire section, including Sting, he does a scorpion death drop on Triple H and throws Dolph on top of Seth Rollins and wins. I'm flabbergasted. This was beautifully done. And the kicker of it all was that John Cena wasn't the last person there. It was Dolph. And Dolph got the pin. And the commentator team really tried their best to focus on Dolph. And by the end of it, when Dolph was all by himself, the crowd embraced Dolph. They wanted him to win, and he did win, not only clean. And I know you're going to say, dude, he didn't win clean. Sting rolled him on. How many times did he win when Triple H had to knock out the ref? Come on. He went through 3 fucking refs before anything good had happened. So essentially, was this a good Survivor Series? Yes, it was. It was a surprising Survivor Series. I have to say though, in the beginning of the show, seeing Mr. McMahon felt like a Raw. I'm going to be honest here, it felt like an opening of a Raw. But when you look at the rest of the show, which wasn't badly done, some things I really did not like. And I was upset about the Bray Wyatt-Dean Ambrose feud. Really. But when it comes down to the ending of the show was so good, it completely negates all that stuff. I don't know if Sting is going to be in this Raw. I hope he does. I'm hoping now that he'll be participating in Raw. Hell, he may become a general manager of Raw. You never know. But I'm now really interested in seeing what happens in this Raw and how they're going to spotlight Dolph Ziggler if they do it all. If Sting is going to be shown, what is Mr. McMahon going to do? Is he going to take over or going to put someone else there? I'm interested in seeing this. You guys tell me below how you feel, because this was a surprising Survivor Series that I actually did like. So I hope you enjoyed this review of Survivor Series 2014. Please give me a comment below. Tell me how you feel about Dolph and Sting. They were the ones who were the most spotlighted here. But I'd like to know how you feel. Have a good day and have a good night. Peace out!